Good morning. This is time and place set, the monthly meeting of the Nevada Taxicab Authority. For the record, note that members Graff and Decker are present, myself, Vice Chairman Soderberg, so we have a quorum. Member Graff, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has this meeting been properly noticed in accordance with the open meeting law?
Yes, it has.
We will move forward. The first item of business is public comment. Is there any member of the public present in the room that would like to address the board? Seeing none, is there any member of the public on the telephone who would like to address the board? Let the record reflect that there are none. The next item is the approval of the January 17th, 2024 board meeting minutes. Are there any member who has any corrections to the current draft of the minutes?
No.
Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved. I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes, and it is signed. Okay. Next item is industry discussion. Are there any members of the industry who would like to address the board with any item of interest? Let the record reflect that no one has come forward. The next item on the agenda is the review and assessment of aggregate statistics compiled from the special event surcharge pilot programs. Their member of the industry is going to make a presentation. Okay.
Good morning, members of the board. Cheryl Gibbons on behalf of Whittlesey Blue Cabin Henderson Taxi. At last month's meeting, I made a somewhat lengthy presentation regarding the surcharges, how they came about when the LOA first filed the application in October of last year, and went over everything having to do with F1, March Madness, EDC, and Super Bowl. Taking those comments, into account at this month's meeting, I am just here to see if the board has any additional questions after having reviewed all of the stats in the aggregate form, which I know staff had presented at the chair's request. They have not been provided to the industry. We still have our separate stats that were provided following each event. But if there were any additional questions, I wanted to make myself available.
Are there any questions of industry from the board regarding the materials from last meeting or what is in our packet today?
I would simply like to end by saying the whole purpose of us coming up with this pilot program was to incentivize taxi cab drivers to drive for the taxi companies versus taking that time off work, driving for the TNCs, or worse, operating as a gypsy cab. We've shown, based on the increase in shifts performed by all of the companies that presented the stats, that there was an increase in the shifts operated versus in the prior year. And I think it shows that these programs have worked. Were there some glitches? Yes, we know we left F1 on a little too long. I think the problem with March Madness was the on-again, off-again surcharge. I think if we were to pick a start point and an end point based on when those events are going to start and end, it'll be cleaner. The public will accept it over time, as they did do the flat rates, because at first there was a lot of pushback from the public about the flat rates. They thought they were getting ripped off or overcharged. Now, as time has gone on, we've seen what a success that has been. Change is painful at times, and we might get some complaints moving forward even with the coming year, but I think we've shown that this achieved the objective that we were looking for. Thank you.
Thank you. There's no questions. I guess just the question of the administrator. As I understand, we at some point will be seeing a proposal from the staff for a period of time surcharge?
Yeah, we can put something together. We've discussed it at length. We have some parameters that we can discuss right now if you'd like to do that, or if you'd rather have it in written form, I'm happy to do that as well.
I just, really, my question just was to make sure that I understood that correctly. You'll be bringing something forward, something that we'll be voting on, as I understand, in the fall.
Yes.
Okay. And working with them on it, and at some point, they'll support your proposal, or we'll have a different proposal, and we'll take care of that, I guess, in October or November.
Okay.
Perfect. Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 6 is the appeal of Mary Sella Perez pursuant to NAC 706-975 of findings of fact, conclusions of law of the order of April 23rd, 2024. Won't read all the rest of that. Ms. Perez, are you in the audience? Please come forward.
Sí, pero úsala a ella. I'm gonna translate for her, is that okay?
Sure, but I have to get her on the record. So come on up.
Okay.
Come on up. Sit down. So please state your name for the record. Microphone's above you there.
Diga su nombre, el micrófono está arriba de usted.
Marisela Pérez.
And you are the registered owner of the vehicle in question.
Usted es el dueño registrado del carro.
Sí.
And sir, if you could identify yourself so we know who have a record.
Yes, my name is Paul James Lopez, and I'm a friend of the family over there.
And you're acting as an interpreter today?
Yes, I am.
Are you acting as legal counsel?
No,
Okay,
just
we
interpreting.
understand.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you have the floor. But before we do that, I'll ask our legal counsel to read the applicable regulations so we know what the standard is, and then we will hear what you have to say.
All right, sure. NAC 706-975 appeals to the authority. That's one I want to read.
Yes.
All right. Subsection 2, petitions for appeal must set forth the grounds upon which the appellant considers the order, decision, or rule, direction, or regulation to be unreasonable, unlawful, erroneous, or not in conformity with the law. Appellant shall include the appeal, in the appeal, a copy of the transcript.
Okay. So for these sort of appeals, based on the regulation, we're not taking any new testimony. We are bound by the record below us at the prior hearing, but we will hear why you believe that that order was unlawful or unreasonable based on what we've just heard. It is not our intent to take new testimony, but you may be asked questions of members of the board, and we have the lead investigator here as well, and he may be asked questions by the board, and at that point, the board will render a decision. So you have the floor.
So, los datos que tienen, el caso, ya no puede agregar más. Es un investigador que pregunta acerca del caso.
Mira, tenés que decirle que ella no estaba ahí, que era yo.
Oh, okay. So he's saying that she wasn't there, that it was him that was at the scene.
Ella solamente es la dueña del carro.
She's only the registered owner of the car, but
Okay.
he was the one that actually went to the
Okay,
incident.
now, for the record is clear, I think from the transcript, we understand who him is, but for the record,
Okay.
could he identify himself, or you identify him?
And then if you can say usted mismo su
Mi
nombre.
nombre
Sir,
es
please,
Antonio.
please sit down.
Oh, thank you, sir. No,
Aquí.
antes que me vuelva.
Perfect. There you go.
Mi nombre es Antonio Rodríguez y yo fui quien estaba manejando el Uber en el momento que sucedió todo lo que acontece aquí.
So he said his name, and then he said that he was the one driving the Uber, and he pertains to the incident that happened that day.
Okay,
Marisela Pérez solamente está en el nombre porque es mi esposa y los dos tenemos cosas en común y ella es dueña del carro.
So that's his wife, and she's only the registered owner of the vehicle,
Okay?
but he was the one that the incident happened with.
So, Ms. Perez, do you authorize your husband to speak on your behalf today?
¿Usted autoriza a su esposo que hable en parte de usted? Que hable.
Sí, porque yo solo soy la dueña del carro.
Yes, because
Okay.
she's only the,
But-
yeah.
That's fine, I just needed to get the yes. That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so this is your opportunity to tell us why we should reverse the order and the underlying decision.
So, esta es la oportunidad que usted tiene para la decisión que han tomado ellos.
Sí, yo creo que en este caso hubo abuso de poder y las cosas no se hicieron como la ley dice que deben de hacerse. Me pusieron una multa de $2,500 sin prueba ninguna y con mentiras que están aquí en estos papeles.
He stated that there was an abuse of power, and he thinks that things didn't go accordingly to the way they should have gone. And he would just like to reverse that decision that was taken here. ¿Verdad? No quiere.
Sí, por ejemplo, cuando la jueza me pone la decisión de ella,
Ajá.
pone de que los oficiales no estaban, que ellos estaban seguros que yo no tenía los signs de Uber y Lyft, que yo no trabajaba con eso. Y yo tengo un video que yo salí de ahí de la corte y fui a recoger mi carro y tengo un video donde enseña los papeles de Uber y Lyft.
May I have say something, please? Necesita, por favor, decir algo y dejar que él traduzca, porque para el momento en que él traduce, usted ya dijo muchas cosas y se pierde.
Okay.
¿Ok? So diga una parte y deje que traduzca y continúa.
Okay.
Repeat what you just said.
Can you repeat what you
Yes,
said
well,
in English?
I was about to say that. I'm explaining to them that he needs to say like a sentence and then let him translate, because by the end of the whole
Okay,
thing,
I understand.
things are missing.
Okay, that make a cleaner translation.
Okay.
Sí. Ajá, entonces dile que por ejemplo, yo tengo las fotos y el video aquí en el teléfono. Cuando fui a buscar mi carro, que yo tengo los signs de Uber y ellos dicen que yo no trabajo para Uber.
So he's saying that he had the signs that are visible on the vehicle, even when it was reviewed from the impound with the Uber and Lyft signs. And they're saying that the officials are saying that he did not have those signs visible. He has a picture of
Tengo pictures,
when
tengo
the car
video.
was getting released from the tow yard with the visible signs on the front dashboard of the Uber. He was advertising his rideshare services.
Tengo un papel que es el traspasing que él hizo en el momento que yo no tenía ningún traspasing en el hotel. No tenía ningún traspasing.
He said that he got cited for trespassing. He has a paper saying that he was trespassing when he was doing the rideshare service there, but he was doing his job, but he feels he wasn't trespassing because he was working rideshare with the signs that are visible here. The picture he has.
Y que el oficial me puso en la prisión, me metió en la prisión sin ninguna prueba y sin nada, solamente porque yo no firmé un papel.
So he said the official arrested him because he didn't sign a paper, and he feels that was very unfair because, you know, that's uncalled for him to get arrested for not signing a paper that he wasn't even aware of what he was supposed to sign. So
Ajá. Y que yo le dije a él que yo estaba haciendo Uber y Lyft y él en ningún momento me pidió mi teléfono ni miró.
so he told them that at that time that he was doing Uber and Lyft, and he said,
Ajá. Él nunca me pidió mi teléfono y nunca miró si yo tenía al cliente en el app o le preguntó a los turistas si ellos tenían en el app también.
so he never asked them for, like, let me see if you booked this Uber ride or Lyft ride. He never asked for any proof of which if he picked up the ride or he wasn't picking up the ride, but he was picking up the ride. in the Uber.
Y digo que él abusó porque yo digo que él abusó de su poder porque él me dijo, si tú no signing the paper, te voy a arrestar.
So he feels that there is an abuse of power because he told him that if
Si no firma los
if he
papeles.
doesn't sign the papers, that I'm gonna arrest you. And he's like, well, I don't even know what I'm signing, you know, and then he ended up not signing and then he ended up getting arrested for that incident. So he feels that's an abuse of power.
Y me puso en la prisión, me metió preso
Yeah, and I went to jail for that.
por eso. Entonces, dígale que me puso el trespassing. La corte, yo tengo juicio, pero no por trespassing, sino porque él me metió preso.
So he says that when he was in jail, he didn't go to jail for trespassing. He went to jail because he booked him and put him in jail.
Que ellos no saben por qué me metió preso.
That
Mi abogada no sabe por qué me
his lawyer, legal counsel, when he was in jail, told him that he doesn't know why he was in jail.
Porque el juez de la corte quitó el trespassing. Yo no tengo trespassing.
Because the judge took away the trespassing.
Porque este papel Taxicab lo llenó él con el jefe de seguridad. Eso lo llenaron después que él me dijo. Ajá.
He said he signed this paper, the officer, with the security,
Después que me dijo que me iba a meter preso.
after the fact that he told him he was gonna arrest him.
Ajá, entonces, y como mismo le enseño, aquí tengo el papel con la fecha y tengo el video de mi carro cuando lo saqué, que tengo los papeles. Ajá.
So he has a picture, once again, stating that that he was advertising his Uber and ride-share services, that he had signs that were visible at the time. And, you know, and
Ajá. Entonces, aquí en los papeles que yo pagué, dile que los papeles que yo pagué, el oficial dice, ajá,
he says he's stating in the papers that he paid to get done.
ajá, aquí el oficial dice que él nunca me escuchó pedirle cash, él nunca oyó lo que yo hablé.
He said that he never heard the individual here say that he asked him for cash. He never heard.
Ajá, ellos nunca me pagaron, ellos nunca me vieron, ellos nunca me dieron dinero.
Like, no money was exchanged.
Él no vio nada de lo que pasó.
That didn't happen. He didn't see anything that happened.
Él solamente vino cuando yo tenía mi carro parado, las maletas estaban adentro del carro.
He just came when the luggage was in the car, and you didn't hear any exchange of money or words or any of that nature.
4 personas estaban adentro de mi carro.
4 people were inside the car,
Ya nos íbamos a ir ya. Fue cuando él llegó.
and then they were about to leave, and then that's when the officer detained them.
Ajá. Y él llegó con la ropa de uniforme que parecía con espejuelos oscuros, con ropa de verde, todo parecía del FBI. Dice,
So he came with some glasses and like a greenish outfit. It looked like an agent from an FBI agent or something similar to that, but
y le preguntó a una clienta, o sea, la clienta, si me conocía.
he asked the client, the one they picked up in the vehicle, if they knew him.
Que si me conocía. Ella dijo que no, por supuesto que tiene que decir que no.
She didn't know who she was. And
Si viene una gente con un oficial vestido de verde,
Yeah.
con protector
Yeah.
y todo,
yeah.
se asusta la gente.
So I guess, the lady said she didn't know him, and the reason being was because he feels that his patron, the client he picked up, was scared. You see an official come up asking if you know him, and she got startled and said no. So
Yo llevo 7 años haciendo Uber y Lyft y nunca he tenido un problema.
he's done Uber for 7 years, and he's never had a problem.
Él tiene un año en ese trabajo. Él tiene un año solamente en ese trabajo
He has 1 year in that job,
y no sabe hacer su trabajo.
and
Digo lo que yo te
in
digo.
his opinion, he doesn't know how to do his job
Porque todo lo hizo mal, todo lo hizo mal.
because everything was done incorrectly.
Fue a mi casa y le dijo a mi hijo que tenía 15
He
años,
went to his house and told his son that was 15 years old
que su papá estaba preso.
that his son was in jail. I mean, that his dad was in jail, told his son.
Y lo hizo firmar un papel ilegalmente.
And made him sign, his son sign a paper.
Ilegalmente,
Because he was in jail.
porque mi hijo estaba con mi sobrina que estaba durmiendo y bajó.
His son was with his niece.
Y cuando vio a la policía se asustó.
And he saw a cop and he got scared.
Exactamente.
And he signed the paper.
Y firmó el papel ilegalmente, que lo
He
tengo
signed
aquí.
the paper illegally.
Illegal, que lo tengo aquí.
That he has right here.
Entonces, ella le preguntó por
And then she asked him,
qué edad él creía que mi hijo tenía.
and he asked him, like, what age do you think his son has?
Y él dijo que 17.
And he told him 17
¿Qué
years
pensaba?
old. And he thought that it was
Entonces,
17 years old.
ajá, entonces me metió preso porque pensó que yo estaba haciendo cash.
And he said that he went to jail because
Él pensó,
the agent thought that he was doing a cash transaction.
porque no tiene prueba ninguna.
But he has no proof of that. That's
Y me
not how-
pusieron $2,500 de multa.
And then they put on that incident, they gave him a $2,500 fine.
A mí no me regalan el dinero.
They don't give away money to me.
Yo trabajo muy duro para ganarme mi dinero, igual que todos.
He works very hard, just like everyone in this room, to earn my money.
Entonces, yo vengo y hago la apelación y quiero que revisen todo esto.
That's why I'm
Todo
here
esto.
to appeal this, so you guys can revise this, because I feel this was unjustly.
Las pruebas que tengo de que sí tenían los signs, el video,
The proof that I have the signs on my vehicle and I have the video of the car exiting the toll lot.
y él me pone en la prisión cuando yo le dije que no iba a firmar un papel porque Marisela no tenía nada que ver en eso.
Yeah, he told him that, basically, he put him in jail when he didn't sign the paper, which my wife doesn't have nothing to do with that.
Y yo no sabía lo que él había escrito ahí. Yo no sabía.
And he didn't know what he had written on the statement himself.
Si ustedes ven, yo necesito a alguien que me traduzca porque yo no sé inglés.
As you see, I don't know English, that's why I have someone here to translate for me.
Y por eso creo de que el oficial
That's why I think the official,
no hizo bien su trabajo.
he didn't do his job correctly.
Aquí está el papel original que mi hijo con 15 años tuvo que firmar.
Here's a paper that his son, of 15 years old, had to sign that the officer needed to sign.
A mí la policía me pone un ticket de tránsito y yo no firmo y no pasa nada.
You know, he
Listen.
said if I get a ticket from the police or transit police, if I don't sign the ticket, I don't go to jail for that.
Él me metió,
Nothing happens. And
Él me
and he did put me in jail.
ajá, él me metió en la prisión porque él me asustó y me dijo, if you're not signing, I'm putting the jail.
So basically, he said that he felt, that if he was intimidating him, and basically if he didn't sign, he would then put him in jail. So
Entonces, que le pregunten a él, ¿cuánta gente él ha puesto en el jail por hacer taxicab ilegal? Que le pregunten.
he wants to know how many people he's put in jail for doing illegal taxi cab services.
Ajá. Ahora, después que me sucedió lo que me pasó,
And then after that incident that happened,
yo lo he visto a él trabajando en la calle
I've seen him working,
y él nunca pone a nadie en el jail. Él,
and he never puts anyone in jail.
ajá, él le dice, la gente se va y yo les he preguntado.
And then people leave, and he'll ask,
Ajá. Ellos se dedican a decirle a los clientes, a decirle a los drivers,
they dedicate telling the drivers, they dedicate to telling people the drivers.
ellos lo hacían.
They've done that.
Ajá. Te doy $100 si me llevas al Sound Point. Díselo. Dile lo que yo digo.
That there are some people that go, oh, I'll give you $100 if you take them to South Point.
O un taxi venía, o un driver venía y le decía a ellos, you need a ride or something, necesita bien. O algo, díselo.
He said, sometimes they ask him, oh, do you need a ride? Do you need something?
Ajá. Esas son las pruebas que él debe tener.
Those are the proof that he should have,
Yo no le dije a él ni a nadie de ellos, a ninguno de los undercover, le dije si querían viaje.
He didn't tell any of the undercovers if you need a lift or you need a ride. He
Ajá.
didn't tell any of them.
Yo solamente hablé con mi cliente por mi teléfono
He only talked to his client through his phone,
y él no entendió eso.
and he didn't understand that.
Él no miró mi
He
teléfono
didn't see his phone,
y no miró el teléfono del cliente.
and he didn't see the client's phone either.
Entonces, yo vengo aquí a esto.
And
Esto
that's why I'm here.
tienen que mirarlo bien, tienen que mirarlo
You
bien.
guys have to see this
Todo está aquí, todo está aquí.
rightfully done.
Como
rightfully.
él dice en una ocasión de que él nunca me escuchó pedir dinero.
Like they said on the occasion, he said the officer never heard him ask for money.
Él nunca escuchó lo que yo hablé con la gente porque él llegó
He
después.
never heard what I told the people or the exchange conversation.
Y aquí él dice que sí, que él me escuchó pedir dinero.
And then he said down in the paper, it says that he did hear him.
Entonces, dice una cosa y dice otra.
So he's saying one thing and then he's saying another thing.
Y dice que pensó que mi hijo tenía 17 años
And then he said that he thought his son had 17 years old.
y ella le preguntó,
And then
¿cómo tú sabes que tenía 17 años? Y dijo, él pensó.
the lady here to the left,
Y ella cuando,
asked him, how do you think that he's 17 years old? And he's like, I just thought he was 17.
y ella cuando habla aquí pregunta
And then when she talks to her, she asks,
que si él me oyó decir algo de cash, algo de dinero.
she said, if she heard him say anything about cash or money,
Y él dijo que no.
and he said no.
Y ella dijo, pero yo pensé que estábamos tratando un caso de cash.
But I thought we were trying, and then she said here that I thought we were trying a case of cash exchange.
Y eso no pasó.
Yeah,
¿Por
that
qué?
didn't happen.
¿Por qué me pone $2,500 de multa? ¿Por qué?
That's why he's asking, like, why did I get fined for $2,500? Like, why?
Y ella dijo, cuando terminó el caso, la resolución, cuando terminó,
And then she said after they
Ella
revised the case,
ajá, yo creo que los oficiales estaban correctos, tú no tenías
she said that the officials were correct because you didn't have any
sign, no tenías ningún
decals,
no tenías ningún carro, ningún sign en tu carro.
no right shirt sign on his car.
Y
But in
dijo,
fact, he did.
ajá, y dijo de que ella creía que ellos no estaban confundidos.
And then she said that she thought that the officials were not confused.
Pero no tienen prueba de ningún tipo. Él no muestra ninguna prueba.
But he has no proof of that, that.
Un traspasing que lo llenó, él lo llenó. Él lo llenó.
And
¿eh?
then,
Entonces, yo se los dejo que ellos opinen qué es lo que piensan de todo esto.
and then I'll leave it up to you guys to get your opinions on all this that happened.
Before I open this up to questions, let's be clear. What are you asking us to do?
¿Usted qué quiere que hagan ellos? Para ser claro.
Que hagan sus cosas como tienen que hacer. Si yo tengo la culpa, yo pagué $2,500.
So basically, to do the things the right way and,
Si ellos piensan
if you guys think,
que yo tengo la culpa,
if he has the fault,
ya yo pagué $2,500.
he paid the $2,500, pero usted qué quiere que
Yo, escúchame,
Que te
si
retiren la multa.
ellos piensan de que esto está mal, que me devuelvan mi dinero que yo les pagué a ellos.
Okay, es lo que so basically he wants a refund because he feels like he didn't do any wrong in this incident.
So what we are being asked is to reverse the decision below us
Yes.
based on finding one of the standards that is in the NAC, the applicable NAC. And that would result in nullifying the conviction and a return of the fine.
Exactly, that's what he wants.
Okay, that's what we're being asked to do.
Sí, usted lo que quiere es que saquen esa decisión y le regresen su dinero y como eso, que lo limpien como si están hechos.
Pero si yo no hice nada,
He said, yeah, he didn't do anything.
yo trabajo por 7 años por Uber.
Ms. Perez, hard to talk when
Yeah.
somebody else is talking. Do you have something you need to tell us for the record?
Dice si que tiene algo que decir para
Sí,
record.
yo lo que quiero es que, como fue una injusticia, con mi niño también, que le hicieron firmar un papel, que nos devuelvan el dinero. Es lo único que nosotros queremos.
So basically,
Y yo le estoy diciendo a él que no repita lo mismo.
It was an injustice and she's telling
Ajá.
them, don't repeat yourself. And basically she feels that her son shouldn't have signed that paper and they just want their money.
Dile que estoy
They want
nervioso.
notified, basically. They want-
Dile que estoy nervioso.
And then they're
Yo
nervous.
nunca he estado en esto.
He's never been involved in stuff like this.
Y llevo 22 años en los Estados Unidos.
And then he has 22 years here in the United States.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Members of the board, do you have questions of the appellant or the lead investigator who is in the audience?
I do.
Commissioner Becker?
Okay. The document that his son signed was the notice of hearing, correct?
So, el artículo que su hijo firmó era el que iba a venir la cita de su corte, ¿verdad?
Para mí,
Yo no sé.
Para él.
para mí.
Pero aquí está aquí, está
So
aquí.
he signed it for her.
It's right there.
Porque soy la dueña del carro y venía a nombre mío.
So su hijo lo firmó.
Mi hijo lo firmó. Yo no estaba en casa.
So her son did sign it for her because she wasn't home.
Yeah, I understand that. You said that, but it's a notice of hearing, correct? The document that he signed, receipt. He signed that he received a notice of hearing.
Yes, correct.
How old does he think someone should be in order to sign that? Because like, if that had come in the mail, let's say, her son might have retrieved the mail
Yeah.
and seen it. So I'm not sure what she's claiming the damage is and how old someone should be to, let me just ask it this way. He was able to attend the hearing, correct?
Él atendió el meeting de ellos o no?
Él abrió la puerta.
He opened the
Dile que la
door.
policía fue a la
Excuse me,
casa.
not both. One.
Él abrió la puerta.
He opened the door.
No, I don't, I'm not asking about the
Pero
facts.
si
Let me ask
I'm
you.
gonna let her know. ¿Usted piensa que fue incorrecto que él firmara este papel?
Claro, porque es menor.
Yeah, because she was a minor, he feels that it was unjust for him to sign this paper.
Él me-
Okay, but were they able to attend the hearing that was noticed in that document?
¿Ustedes fueron a esa charla en ese documento? ¿Fueron a este meeting? ¿Fueron o
Sí, nos pusieron los 2.500 dólares.
she said yes, they were?
Okay, all right, next question.
Okay.
Next question is sorry?
We're not taking testimony.
Is he aware that the signs in his vehicle are not authorization to pick up rides?
Dice que usted sabe que si los letreros en su carro no la autoriza para recoger a gente.
¿Cómo?
Como dice que eso no significa que los signs que no lo autoriza para recoger gente.
El teléfono.
Right, see,
The telephone.
yeah, so was he on app at the time that he picked up those people?
¿Usted estaba en la aplicación cuando recogió a esa gente?
Sí.
Okay, did he provide evidence to the officer that he was on app when he made that pickup?
¿Usted proveyó la evidencia que sí estaba en la aplicación cuando lo arrestaron?
Él no me lo pidió y se lo estoy diciendo
He
todo
didn't
el
ask for
tiempo. Yo tengo el right. Yo se lo dije. Yo no estoy haciendo cash. Yo se lo
I
dije.
didn't ask if he asked for it, I asked if he provided the officer with evidence.
Ya.
Se lo proveyó el
¿El teléfono?
sí, creo. Ya ha agarrado el right de...
Él me quitó el teléfono cuando me arrestó.
Dice,
We need an English
Attorney General has
record.
something
We
to
need
say.
the record in English. And I know you understand them, but I have no idea. what
Okay, gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so, yeah, I don't understand.
¿qué dice?
It's a kind of a yes or no question, actually.
Sí o no es la pregunta.
¿Qué me
La pregunta es, pues, can you repeat the questions? I can...
Did he provide the officer with evidence that he was on app when he made the pickup?
¿Usted proveyó la evidencia que usted estaba en la aplicación al oficial?
Dígale que sí, que le enseñé mi teléfono.
He said yes, he showed him his phone.
Is that evidence in the documentation that was provided at the hearing?
Esa evidencia está en los documentos que proveyeron en la...
No, él no puso nada. Él nada más dijo.
He said no, that he just said it verbally.
He said it verbally. That's not evidence.
There's no
Did he
evidence.
provide any evidence? Did he let the officer see that he was on app? Did he print screen his phone?
¿Usted le enseñó al oficial que usted estaba en la aplicación?
Sí, por supuesto.
Is that
Sí.
print screen anything that was included in the evidence that he submitted for his hearing?
Esa screenshot en la foto, ¿usted lo incluyó cuando fue al meeting?
Él me arrestó. Yo no tengo, no puedo.
It
Yo no
wasn't.
puedo hacer
Okay.
nada.
Is he
Say
aware?
that again? I'm sorry, I didn't hear your response.
It was not.
Okay, thank you.
Is he aware that it's a gross misdemeanor and an arrestable offense to unlawfully transport passengers off app?
Si usted sabía que es ilegal, es una misdemeanor, es un delito recogiendo a gente si no pone la aplicación
Y
del
se
rancho.
puede arrestar.
Sí, yo sé,
Se puede arrestar.
yo sé.
Yes, okay.
What was your clarification?
And
For
it
the
can be
record?
arrested, because
Okay.
he's not
Thank you.
saying that part.
Okay.
So he
So make
understood-
sure that, what's your name and please
My
state what you
name is
corrected.
Sylvia Toms, and I'm the legal secretary for Taxicab Authority.
So he understands that without providing that evidence to the officer, he could be arrested for illegally transporting passengers.
Usted sabe si no provee esa evidencia, lo pueden arrestar por no enseñar que no está la aplicación en el raite, que no lo recogió.
Pero yo se lo enseñé a él.
He's saying that he did show it to him,
But he didn't bring it to hearing.
pero no lo trajo al caso.
Pero él me arrestó y me quitó mi teléfono. Él
He
me quitó todo.
arrested him and he took his phone, so he didn't have it. He couldn't show it to him.
Él tiene que tener todo el teléfono y él a mí no me pidió.
He's saying the same thing you just said. So,
Sí,
Yeah.
so his phone was returned to him after he was released from jail.
Le devolvieron el teléfono cuando salió de la cárcel.
sí,
So he had an opportunity to bring that evidence to hearing and show the hearing officer in the event that, as he states, that he showed the officer and it didn't make it into
So
evidence.
usted podía enseñarle el teléfono diciendo que usted agarró la app con el iPhone.
pero ellos nunca me pidieron eso.
But they didn't ask him for the,
They didn't ask him.
Yo hablé
Okay,
con él.
I understand that. Okay, so did I hear him say he has private clients? In Spanish, I heard him say he has private clients that call him directly, they have his phone number, and so he doesn't always have the information on his app.
dice que a veces dice que usted tiene clientes privados, que a veces
Yo no tengo ningún cliente privado.
dice he has no private clients.
Well, he said it in the hearing, because it's in the transcript as well.
Dice que lo dijo eso con el hearing, cuando fue a la corte, que está en el papel.
Ey, pero en el papel dice que yo tengo un amigo de Canadá, dice en el papel,
He says here on the paper, it says that he has one friend from Canada.
ajá, que él me trae un regalo de Canadá
Que
y yo voy a verlo, pero yo no tengo clientes privados.
He says he has something about a friend from Canada bringing him a gift, but he has no private clients.
Because it's illegal, right?
Todo el mundo lo sabe.
He says basically everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that. Okay, so in this case, he knows it's illegal to pick up private clients or clients that aren't on app.
So usted sabe que
He gets arrested,
lo arrestan.
but he doesn't show the officer or the hearing officer the evidence that he was on
No
app.
le enseñan la evidencia que pertenece para que no lo hubieran arrestado.
Sí, pero yo le dije, en el mismo momento que él viene, que parquea su carro, que él viene, yo le dije, I got the right here. Le
He
dije,
said that when he came up, when he was picking up the clients that you showed him, he's like, look, I have them here that I booked them.
él lo dijo aquí también está.
No,
And he
no.
basically stated it on the statement.
Yeah, but he said that he only told the officer that verbally. Because the problem is, the clients told the officer verbally that they weren't on app. Okay, so I'm gonna move on.
Okay.
Do you have any evidence that you were not previously trespassed by the property?
Tiene evidencia que no fue traspasado los cargos de trespassing.
¿Cómo voy a demostrar la evidencia?
How is he gonna show you the evidence?
Well,
Todos los días yo voy ahí, todos los días.
He goes there every day for his ride share.
So the security manager at the property who stated that he was trespassed is wrong?
So el security manager que lo traspasó dijo que está mal.
Lo juro por Dios que eso nunca me lo dijeron.
He swears to God that they never told him that.
Solamente este papel que lo llenaron el mismo día.
Just this paper that they filled out the same day.
Okay. All right, last question. Did your wife advise your son to sign the notice of hearing?
Tu esposa le dijeron que firmara el papel.
Yo estaba preso.
He was in jail,
Ella fue quien habló.
and she was the one that talked.
Yo no estaba en la casa.
She wasn't home.
Right, but she spoke to her son on the phone, correct?
Habló con
Sí,
él.
pero mi niño
Yes.
habla muy mal el español.
You said her son talks very bad
Él
Spanish.
estaba muy nervioso.
He was nervous.
Y me dijo, mi papá está preso, mi papá está preso, hay que firmar un papel. Fírmalo, me fui para la casa.
He basically said, my
Corriendo.
cousin Jones signed this paper. My dad, they were nervous. He was
Yo
going
no sab-
hysterical and he signed it.
Because of
Yo no,
him,
permiso,
because of.
One at a time.
permiso. Yo no sabía que él estaba preso hasta
He
que
didn't know
llegó
he-
la policía.
He didn't know he was
Que
in
mi
jail
hijo me
until
llamó.
she came to the house and the son called.
Okay, is it your testimony that if your son hadn't signed the paper that he wouldn't have attended the hearing?
So, si no hubiera firmado el papel, no hubiera ido al meeting, si su hijo no hubiera firmado, o todavía hubiera ido al meeting.
No, porque no sabía nada.
Well, she wouldn't be aware of it.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay, Member Graff, do you have any questions?
I was gonna ask staff or council, what was the ultimate charge that he was convicted of? Or that we're here appealing?
The illegal transportation of passengers without a CPC.
Without a CPC?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there ever any proof that there was a CPC for that vehicle?
Nope,
Is there?
never.
Does the staff have the ability to search the records to determine whether or not that vehicle has ever had a CPC?
Yes, they have that ability.
Did they?
I don't know what day they did, but they did check and it never has had one.
To this day?
to this day.
Okay.
¿Qué le preguntó él ahí?
Well, I haven't asked you a question yet.
Oh, no.
So, make sure I ask the right person. Ms. Perez, did you ever obtain a CPC for that vehicle?
Si yo nunca obtenía un CPC para ese vehículo.
No.
No.
I don't have anything further.
Okay.
No tengo nada.
Oh, wait, hold on one second, sorry.
Pregúntale si puedo decir algo.
May he say something?
We're done with that portion.
Están terminados.
Unless there's another question.
Lick a wood, leave.
Members, this is the time where we may discuss this, or we may go directly to a motion, depending on what the druthers are of the board. Any comments? Anything to discuss?
We're allowed to consider everything in the packet, including the sworn testimony that's in the transcript.
Yo tengo un video aquí que sale.
Let the record reflect that legal counsel has responded yes. Member Graff's.
Head nod.
So, and there's testimony in the record that specifically states that there was no CPC and never issued for the vehicle. And that was testimony that was taken at the time of the hearing. I moved to deny the appeal.
Okay.
And discussion?
Any discussion?
I'm concerned about the allegation of abuse of power because the respondent doesn't agree with the officer's decision doesn't constitute abuse of power. There's no abuse of power that's been shown. So those are just allegations that are being made sensationally. I don't necessarily appreciate that. Secondly, having signs that say Uber and Lyft in your car does not authorize you to do a pickup. Thirdly, the appellant claims to have been doing this for years and years and years. So the appellant knows that he must prove, number one, prove that he's on app when asked by an officer, and number two, pick up in the designated rideshare area.
¿Y cómo comprueba?
I don't believe.
¿Cómo comprueba que no estaban en la?
No, I'm not asking any questions.
No, no
No,
problema.
Okay.
Yep, just let it take a minute. Please advise the appellants that now we're at the point where the board is discussing,
Okay.
and it's an open meeting, you're allowed to hear it, but it's not questions to respond.
I'm going slow and I'm looking your directions so you can translate, but I'm not asking anybody, yeah. right.
We know your job's not easy.
Van a tomar su decisión ellos.
So, I don't believe there was evidence that the appellant was on app, or he would have showed the officer and brought it to hearing. And if there was, and I'm wrong, that should have been introduced at the very least at hearing. The appellant had the opportunity to do that and did not. The trespassing, I can see why the court dismissed it. That doesn't necessarily negate the charge that the officer made under the impression by the property that he had been trespassed, but if they didn't provide him evidence, then I can see why it was dismissed. That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with one way or the other, but it was one of the items that he mentioned for his appeal. The person who's arrested, unless they're a lawyer and they make a legal argument, in my opinion, they don't get to decide whether it's called for or uncalled for the officer to make the decision. That's the officer's decision. He's aware that he's not allowed to make pickups and that it's a gross misdemeanor and that he's subject to arrest. And in this case, that looks like that was what happened. As far as his concern that the notice of hearing was signed illegally, Ms. Perez admitted that if her son hadn't signed it, they would have been unaware of the hearing. I don't see any harm or damage that was caused by it being delivered to a 17-year-old child. It's not a citation, it's not, doesn't have any criminal information, it's simply a notice of administrative hearing. So for those reasons, I would vote to deny.
It's 15 years, no 17. Pero son 17, it's 15.
Does that conclude your comment?
That concludes my comments. Yeah, thank you.
I'd like to take a moment and ask, is Member Graff's motion sufficient, wording-wise? He moved to deny the appeal, and I don't know what we need to have in that to make sure, to make you comfortable.
I
Do you want us
would
to make
like you to
findings?
read the title of the case, but other than that, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, why don't we do it this way?
I'll amend it.
Okay,
Yeah, hold on. Let me go to the-
I was at that page, I couldn't.
I'll correct my error. All right. So I kind of want to add something too, in line with what Board Member Decker said too, before I amend it.
Okay, go ahead.
I think all due process was met. The purpose and intent of due process is so that you had notice of the hearing and that you attended the hearing and that the hearing was conducted and that you were given the opportunity to present evidence and testimony in support of your case. The case in this instance is that you operated a vehicle and transported people without a CPCN. That is against public policy and it's against law, codes, and NRSs. That's what we're here about. We're not here about how you got the notice or anything else about that, because we wouldn't be here if you didn't get notice. And you had every opportunity to appeal it, and that's why we're here. You've given the opportunity to appeal it. Anybody that operates a vehicle, a TNC or a taxi cab, all of these people behind you that operate taxi cabs, they have to get all that certificate for all of those vehicles that are out there being operated. That's why we're here. And the fine is so that that doesn't happen. This board has had a significant goal to decrease the number of unauthorized passenger transportation, UPC, UPT. And that's what we're talking about here. You had every opportunity to present a photocopy of that TNC rideshare for that day. That was never presented, and we're here today, and today is a de novo review of what was done at the time of the hearing. So then, my motion is to deny the appeal of event number 240421-0009 with the and then UPT number 24-00013.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Member Decker. Any further comments? We'll take a vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. There are no opposed. Let the record reflect that the motion passes and the appeal has been denied. Sir, thank you. I know it's not easy, no matter how good you are at two languages. We appreciate your assistance.
Thank you.
next item on the agenda is the staff report.
Thank you, Vice Chair Soderberg. Todd Park, Administrator for the Taxicab for the record. First of all, I want to just kind of give you a staff update. We have a new dispatcher that just started this week, and she's in attendance today. Her name's Shelly Carrillo. If I could have Shelly just say hi and
Hi.
welcome her to the agency. We also have a couple of new officers that are in field training. They've been in field training for about a month now. One of them is in attendance today because he's being trained by the officer that was here regarding the last case. So I'm going to ask Dylan to stand up, Dylan Meeks. He came to us from gaming. We also have another officer that's on days off, but she's also in field training right now. So just welcome them all to the agency and look forward to having good things from them. So I also, a couple weeks ago, we had a big event happen. Officer Diaz, who's also in attendance today, was out on patrol, came across a cab that was parked on the side of the road, had broken windows on it out by the airport. He pulled up to investigate to see what was going on. It turns out it was a large-scale robbery of a jewelry dealer, over $500,000. He was able to put that together. We got a hold of Metro. Our officers also responded. They found the luggage that was taken by the suspects, and they just did a heck of a good job. And I just want to commend the work that they did. That's a big event, and it shows the ability to work with other agencies. And as far as I know, that Metro's got the case now. I don't know that the suspects have been located, but just his attentiveness to taking care of that, I just really wanted to recognize him in the public meeting about the job that he did. So, and the other officers as well. So, I met with the industry on a Teams meeting. We discussed Executive Order number 3, which is the revisions of this NACs, and we kind of all came to a conclusion that it'd be best to just start all over again. I guess it had been started at one time with the last administration, but we're going to just start all over. So within the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a workshop. We'll get it noticed, and we're going to start all over with looking at the NACs and revising whatever it is we need to do. I also wanted to give a shout out to our vehicle inspectors. They show up every day. They go out there in this heat. They have to inspect every single cab throughout the year. Not only the cabs throughout the year, but any accidents. They have to look at those cabs, and I don't hear them complain. I don't hear them complain about the heat and being outside. They're just a solid group of guys, and I just wanted to publicly recognize those guys as well.
The past couple months cannot have been easy for them.
It's been brutal. It's been brutal, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that just in our statistics. And unless you guys have some questions regarding anything I've talked about right now, I'll just move into some stats.
I'd like to get notice of the workshop.
Okay.
Just to make sure.
Okay, absolutely. Anything else? Okay. So total monthly trips, as you can see, it was down, and you'll see it reflected in our citations as well. I think the heat played a huge role in that, and then as far as our citations, and we'll get to that page here in a minute. We're, like I said, we're in the middle of training, so we're taking some of the officers away from what their normal duties would be just to go out and train. And I think you'll see those statistics come up more once we get the people out on the street. We have 2 more bodies, and in fact, just the just so you know, I still have one opening in enforcement, and we're in the process of hiring somebody right now. Actually, I have 2 openings in enforcement. One person, we're in the middle of hiring right now. We'll get them hired, get them out in field training as well, and then I think we're going to have to open up one more recruitment to fill that last position. So we're also, I think, down 1 up front in the administrative assistants, and I think we're down 1 in dispatch as well. So sorry, I didn't finish up the staffing before I got to the stats. But I did want to give you guys an idea that for the reason of the monthly trips being down, I think a lot of it has to do with the heat and Vegas that just slowed down. The revenues per trip, obviously, because of the rides, that was down as well. The lease revenues, same thing. The combined trip comparison, that was also down. Again, I think Vegas had just slowed down a lot during the month of July. The year-to-date comparison, actually, for the lease trips and the revenue, those are still up for the year. Our medallions haven't changed. They're still at 3530. The lease decals, they're still at 1,669. For the agency stats, talked about the citations being down. I believe the reason again is training that we're doing, and also that just Vegas was slow during the month. We still did 6 impounds during the month, which is about kind of where we've been over the past year or so. Accidents, still a lot of accidents, 302. We had 3 batteries. We had some batteries that were in progress that the officers responded to. They just do a really good job with those complaints. But overall, we had 842 dispatched events in the month of July. Had 77 citation violations. This is a stat that I really like to see. The cabs in service, they keep going up, 3,076. I think the industry is happy to get more cabs out. I'm happy to see more cabs out, and it just keeps growing. I think at the start of the year, we were under 3,000. So as we continue to see cabs rise, I think that's a good thing for the industry. The elderly rides, they stayed about the same as last month. And again, as you can see, the credit card transactions were down a little bit, again, for the same reasons. So those are the stats I have. If you guys have any questions, happy to answer as much as I can.
Any questions, the administrator?
I have a couple.
Go ahead.
You got a long haul citation. Shocking.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Total number of waived before hearing is 74. Does that include people who pay a fine and that are negotiated out?
It does.
It does. Should you separate those so that we can see the difference? Because there's a huge number of negotiated out, which is a huge success for the agency.
It is.
And for Sylvia, and I don't want to dilute those numbers.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that.
The other question is total number of hearing held. You had 6 UPTs, 6 vehicle releases, and 7 hearings. So one of those hearings, I assume, was on a citation?
Yes.
So you wrote 67 citations involving 77 violations, and only 1 person went to hearing. That's huge. That's really good work.
It's good.
Good
work on
that means that the people that are being cited are being explained. Here's what you did. They agree, and they're paying, and they're not contesting. And I think that's a great. It says a lot about what your officers are doing.
Thank you.
And that's it. That's all. Thank you.
Any questions? Do we have any presentation from the legal counsel? No? Any future agenda items from staff? Yes,
No.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Are there any members of the public present in the room that would like to address the board? Let the record reflect that there are none. Are there any members of the public on the telephone who would like to address the board?
No.
Let the record reflect that there are none. With that, looks like we have concluded our business. I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There are no nays. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.